What if I told you that a civilization with no cranes, no computers, and no modern tools built structures so perfectly aligned with the stars that even today's engineers cannot fully explain how they did it? The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing. And after thousands of years of study, archaeologists, physicists, and historians still cannot agree on exactly how it was built. This is not a mystery from a fantasy novel. This is real. This happened on Earth. And the answers are still buried somewhere in the sand. To understand why the pyramids are so shocking, we have to go back to the very beginning of one of the greatest civilizations humanity has ever seen. Around 3100 BC, the Nile River Valley in northeastern Africa became the birthplace of something extraordinary. 2 separate kingdoms, Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north, were unified under a single ruler. According to ancient records, a king named Narmer, sometimes called Menes, brought these 2 lands together and established the first dynasty of ancient Egypt. This was not just a political event. It was the birth of an empire that would last over 3,000 years. The geography of Egypt was everything. The Nile flooded every year like clockwork, depositing rich black soil along its banks. This made farming reliable and predictable in a way that most of the ancient world could not dream of. Surrounded by harsh deserts on both sides, Egypt was naturally protected from invasion. The people who lived there did not have to spend all their energy fighting for survival. They had time to think. Time to build. Time to create. Early Egyptians developed writing in the form of hieroglyphics, a complex system of symbols that allowed them to record history, religion, laws, and trade. They built cities. They organized labor on a scale never seen before. And they developed a deep spiritual belief in life after death that would drive some of the most ambitious construction projects in human history. By the time the Old Kingdom period arrived around 2700 BC, Egypt had entered what many historians call its first golden age. The pharaoh was not just a king. He was considered a living god, a direct link between the human world and the divine. And to honor this god-king, the Egyptians built tombs that touched the sky. The Step Pyramid of Djoser, built around 2630 BC, was the first massive stone structure ever constructed. But it was just the beginning. Within a few generations, Egyptian architects made a leap that still stuns modern experts. They went from step structures to the perfectly smooth, geometrically precise pyramids we know today. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BC, contains over 2 million stone blocks. Some weigh as much as 80 tons. It stands at nearly 481 feet tall and was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for almost 4,000 years. Here's what makes this truly impossible to ignore. The 4 sides of the Great Pyramid are aligned with the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, with an accuracy of less than 1/10 of a degree. The base is level to within just a few centimeters across an area the size of 10 football fields. The internal chambers and passageways align with specific stars, including Orion's belt, which the Egyptians associated with Osiris, their god of the afterlife. How did they achieve this precision without lasers, without satellites, without modern surveying equipment? Nobody has given a completely satisfying answer. Beyond the pyramids, ancient Egypt's golden age produced breathtaking achievements in medicine, mathematics, astronomy, and art. Egyptian doctors performed surgeries. Their astronomers tracked celestial cycles with remarkable accuracy. Their artists created paintings and sculptures that inspired civilizations thousands of years later, including ancient Greece and Rome. But no empire lasts forever. Egypt's decline came in waves. Foreign invasions, internal power struggles, and the rising power of new empires all chipped away at Egypt's strength. The Assyrians invaded in the 7th century BC. The Persians conquered Egypt in 525 BC. Then came Alexander the Great in 332 BC, and finally the Romans in 30 BC. When the last pharaoh, Cleopatra VII, died, the 3,000-year story of ancient Egypt came to an end. And yet, Egypt never truly disappeared. Its legacy is everywhere. The entire Western calendar is based on Egyptian astronomical calculations. The concept of a 365-day year comes from ancient Egypt. Modern medicine traces some of its earliest written surgical records to Egyptian papyrus scrolls. Architecture, art, religious ideas about the soul and afterlife, even the image of the all-seeing eye on the American dollar bill draws from ancient Egyptian symbolism. The pyramids still stand. Cracked by time, worn by sand, and studied by every generation of scientists who cannot quite crack their full secret. They are not just tombs. They are a message. A message from a civilization that looked at the desert and said, "We will build something eternal." And they did. The real mystery of the pyramids is not just how they were built. It is why a human civilization, thousands of years ago, felt compelled to reach for the stars with nothing but stone and will. Subscribe to Kadim World for more hidden history.